Now, Jenny, after 1 hour, 1 hour deliberation about your MIT essay. So we talk about your Harvard interview. So it will benefit my other students. It will also benefit me because after all, we spend long hours anticipating what scenario, what kind of person you're going to talk. Now, give me feedback, what you learned, what your feedback for the Harvard interview. How do you make the connection? What you learned, what the lesson you learned? Go ahead.
I think that once you like start talking about yourself, you eventually like find a point in which like you can relate to the interviewer like personally. So then I would say like try to like talk more about like a specific instance. So like for example, this person was actually the head of like the Model UN thing.
Oh, like, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, in like the college that we like attended the conference in. So then I was like, oh my God. And then you just sort of like talk more about that, I guess. And wonderful. I mean, I talked about like what lessons I learned from Model UN and stuff. So I don't know, hopefully he liked that. And then like in the second half, we were just like, it was more of a conversation because I think he ran out of questions, or like around halfway through, he was like, oh, do you have any questions to ask me? It wasn't really near the end. So then I just like asked him some questions. And then near the end, it was more like of a conversation rather than an interview, which I'm not really sure.
The best interview is the starting a conversation is a two-way street, right? And yeah, we prepared that what kind of question you're supposed to ask him, what question you ask him that can actually build the connection. What question you ask him?
I asked him about like a lot about his like, because he's history.
Yes.
So I just like asked him like the questions we prepared, like how did Harvard like help you? And then like what got you interested? And then he started talking a lot about his lessons, like what like he related a lot to the lessons he taught. And then some of them were like how social media in today's culture like affects the way we think or something like that. I don't know. It was like, I don't know. But then I was like, oh, that's relatable. Ha. And then I like talked about how like I related to my own life, I guess. I don't know. He taught like he talked a lot about like what courses he was teaching currently. And then I guess those were like pretty interesting. So like I just like
if you ask him about his German experience and overcoming the cultural differences, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I asked him like why he was interested in Germany or like why he was so interested in that specific. And he was like, oh, it's something about my background. Like my mom was like some German something, or it wasn't like, yeah. And then I asked like about the multicultural thing near like the end, but it was like sort of overtime and I didn't want to like take up too much of his time. So I just
the longer the interview, that means you are more successful.
Okay.
Suppose you have a 45 minutes, right? Interview session.
Well,
how long is the last?
It was supposed to be 1 hour, but it was like 1 hour and 10 minutes. But then at the end, I was like, I don't have any more questions because I don't want to take up too much of your time.
And that's wrong way of thinking. You're too gentle and too
I know.
That's right. You're next time you'll be more aggressive.
Okay.
Taking his brain. So which question is hardest one? He asked me. And what lesson you learned?
Oh, he asked me like what is the biggest issue you think we're facing in and like I responded with like my climate change thing, but then like I wasn't really prepared. So then he's like, what solutions would you suggest? And I was like, oh shoot, because I didn't really prepare that one.
So this guy is really asking about the global issues, right?
Yeah, I should have just been more like research. That was sort of dumb.
Definitely. But we already did 3 hours, 3.5 hours of interview preparation, but you
Yeah.
cannot prepare all the answers. Therefore, you need make sure next time to really aware of the social conflict. I think this guy probably will think about social justice issues. Did he ask anything related with that topic, or he's trying to get you to talk about
I don't really, he didn't really ask me any of my, he didn't really ask me any questions like specifically related
Mhm.
to, I mean,
Did he ask, did you have time to talk about your art?
oh yeah, that was like in the beginning. He was like
Mhm.
asking about that.
What question? What exactly
He,
the
well,
question?
he first asked about like an extracurricular, and then he just asked me like clarify more
Mhm.
on like what I was doing. So I clarified.
And which
I
art you spend most of time?
um I didn't really. Oh, I didn't really share my screen, but I did send him my website.
Oh,
So
you just gave him a website. So the perfect composition is that you share the screen and show him the art and
yeah.
try to get one to catch his attention and dig deeper.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
that will be give him a stronger. But you did have the background with this art, right?
Yeah,
Did you talk about that?
not specifically that one.
You should.
Yeah, I
You
should
can
have.
trick him into ask you something like that. You can say, hey, that is mine. What that is about. So anyway, the hardest one is the global issue. Which one do you think is the most important, urgent, right? So you talk about the green. Okay. What else? What lesson you learned from this?
Lesson. Um, I don't just pretend it's like a normal conversation, I guess, and
Mhm.
don't be too nervous or like
Were you nervous or no?
yeah. Of course, I
How
was nervous.
how many seconds, how many minutes till you become yourself, relax?
Like at least like 15 minutes, 20 minutes,
15 minutes?
maybe even
It's
more.
literally take me 3 minutes to relax
Well,
with the person.
like completely relaxed. I mean, like I wasn't like panic. I wasn't like stumbling. I was just like it took me a while to get more like feel normal.
Okay,
Yeah.
so in terms of your judgment of your interviewer's personality, what kind of person he is that similar to our anticipation or no?
I think it's probably pretty similar. He's very well spoken, obviously. Um, he's like because he's like a teacher, he brought up a lot of new ideas, which
Mm-hmm.
was expected. Um, I don't know, it's pretty standard. He seemed pretty serious, but then he was also, I think he had a sort of a dry sense of humor sometimes.
Okay, good.
He wasn't completely like still faced.
So was he taking notes when you're talking? Yes or no?
Yeah, he was taking notes.
Yeah. He's taking notes and giving you a score, but you shouldn't be unnerved by him on that. So I think you did a good job. So especially you ask him question. How long you talk about his interest? 20
It was
minutes,
like
15
it
minutes?
was yeah, it was a long time because he asked me whether I had any questions for him like halfway through or like
Okay.
30 minutes later. So we were literally just talking about, well, it started with those questions and it lasted for the rest of the interview, but like it wasn't only him talking about his own like it wasn't only me asking questions. It was also me like telling him or like relating to him
That's
on
good.
like
What materials, what insights you talk to him about his subject like history? Do you remember something? So you talk about his interest in Germany, and especially his military history, right? That's really interesting. Oh, is he the product of American soldiers' family situation in Germany? So his mom is Germany, his father is GI.
I don't,
That's probably,
maybe.
yeah, he have a big exposure of German, relatives.
Yeah, I
and stuff.
guess. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What other insights? I guess we talked about talking about public speaking a little because he was teaching a course about public speaking.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It's actually, public speaking challenge is, yeah, you are going to write that kind of essay to MIT. So increase overcoming the public speaking difficulty and make your message across the wider audience and using art and the public speaking. Overcoming, show your fortitude.
Yes.
Probably when he was growing up, he had to overcome a lot of stage fright, right? And anxiety. Everybody have that phrase. You overcame it, and then you can teach about public speaking. Okay. So there's no shame in tell them that you are nervous, right? Public speaking, because you are building up your confidence, right? So wonderful, 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 wonderful. So public speaking is his field, history is his field, and he loved to talk. So he would appreciate that. So I anticipate, right? The more question you ask about him, the more flattered he feels. And then you can join the conversation. It's two-way communication. That's the best. Okay, congratulations. Okay, let's conclude our wrapping up.